What's going on, everyone? The best thing to happen to the Lakers this season was clearly the trades that they made around the trade deadline. The Lakers clearly upgraded the roster and has just brought so much joy and excitement and just freshness back to the Lakers organization. And even if things don't work out this season, you have this feeling of okay, it's going to work out. We're going to be good going forward. Even if it's too big of a hill to climb this year, we already have the foundation that carries over into next season, and now we'll get a full season with this group, with this team. And it's just one of those things where it's like, man, if we had this team from the beginning, where would we be right now, right? How good would we be? I mean, we're already seeing the blueprint for some real success with this roster, and they've only played 3 games together. They've only played 1 game fully healthy, and that went in a very dominant fashion. And I talked about D'Angelo Russell the other day in a video, and I wanted to speak on another key factor. In my opinion, is the X factor. I think D'Angelo Russell is going to be the guy that has the largest impact overall, just because his ability to score and attack on all 3 levels, play make, be that third guy. But Jarred Vanderbilt, seriously, this guy is the sort of jack of all trades for this team. He's the do everything guy. He's the kind of glue guy, the elite defender, right? I mean, what he was able to do with Brandon Ingram was incredible. Brandon Ingram really struggled, and it was night and day from the previous game where we had, Patrick Beverley guarding Brandon Ingram, which just didn't work out. Ingram basically got whatever he wanted, absolutely abused us, and they ended up winning the game. But this past game with the Lakers, you just saw the difference, the significance. You saw how good Jarred Vanderbilt is defensively. And look, Brandon Ingram, he still got 25 points. If you just looked at the box score, right, and you saw Ingram still had 25, 4, and 1, you'd be like, oh, he still had a pretty solid game. Yeah, he didn't have this monstrous game, but he still had a really good game. But then you look at, he was 10 of 21 for 25 points, and you put that in comparison. I mean, he shot over 50% last time. This is a guy that has been a very good elite scorer. Brandon Ingram has good size, good length. One of the things that makes him so good is his ability to shoot over basically anybody, right? And he really struggled with Jarred Vanderbilt. Jarred Vanderbilt was really able to just make things difficult, just make things challenging for him. And that's what it really boils down to. When you're talking about great elite scorers, right? You're not going to stop them. You're never going to shut down a truly great basketball player. But it's about getting them to make things difficult. Instead of him putting up 25 on 15 shots, it took him 21 shots. Taking a guy who, say a Kevin Durant, usually he'll go off for 30. Can you keep him to 25 or 26? And you might look at it as it's only a 2 or 3 basket difference, but that could be the difference between winning and losing a game. And what were the quality of shots? How many shots did it take to get to those points? All of that stuff. If a guy is shooting, 47% from the field, can you get him to 43%? Right? Because what that's doing is it's just making things more challenging. And in many cases, that's the difference between the game, right? But not just that, what Jarred Vanderbilt's able to do, guarding the best player on the other team, but also being a help defender, right? He covers so much ground and is able to just do so much. He's a guy, and the reason I really like talking about him, and a reason I want to continue to talk about him and kind of drive this Jarred Vanderbilt narrative, is because he's a guy that's going to kind of get lost in translation, right? If you didn't watch the Pelicans game, you looked at Jarred Vanderbilt and you went, he only had 6 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists in 28 minutes. That's not great. But then you watch the game and you see, the guy didn't miss a shot for one, and two, it's yeah, he did that, but he also affected countless shots. He also impacted the game heavily on the defensive end. He also was a hustle guy and high motor and high engine guy. And, there was a couple plays where he wasn't able to get the ball, but was able to just kind of swat it to the next person. That doesn't count as a rebound, right? The hockey assists, all of those things are all huge, impactful plays. And Jarred Vanderbilt is going to be a guy that he's not going to show up these insane, crazy stat lines. You're not going to see a 20, 10, and 10 game from him. You're going to get a lot of 6, 4, and 2 games, but what he does for this team, it is a huge, huge need and a huge necessity. Him and Anthony Davis are going to make us an elite defense. I really think by the time this season's over, from the time we got this current roster to the end of the season, I think we're bare minimum a top 10 defense. I wouldn't be shocked if we're a top 5 defense, because Anthony Davis in and of himself takes us from a bottom 5 defense to a top 15 defense. And then you add Jarred Vanderbilt and also a guy like Mo Bamba. Even D'Angelo Russell has been surprisingly good defensively, in my opinion. Beasley has been very solid defensively. I really think that these guys are going to come in and really make us a top, 7 defense, maybe somewhere in that ballpark. And we're already one of the better scoring teams. We were one of the better scoring teams even before this trade. I only imagine we're going to get better. And because, not only do you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis who are going to get you a bulk of points, you still have D'Lo, who's averaging 17 points a game since he's came to the Lakers. Yes, he averages 17 points a game for his career, but he's keeping his average even as the third guy. So that's huge. So I don't see us having an issue scoring. Guys will start coming around and getting more comfortable, right? Even Beasley hasn't shot great, but his ability to just, spread the floor and cause guys to have to go challenge, that really helps. Even Mo Bamba, he was 0 of 5 from 3. He's a 40% 3-point shooter, but not just that. Top of the key, transition threes, he shoots over 50% on. And so he's not going to go 0 of 5, stuff like that. So once guys start getting comfortable and start knocking down shots more frequently, that's going to be huge for this Lakers team. Their issue is not going to be scoring. Their issue is going to be, can you stop the other team? And to have a guy like Jarred Vanderbilt as just a one-on-one defender, but also he's just an incredible help defender, that is going to be just it's going to be it's too much to measure, right? It's going to be so impactful, so helpful. To have a guy with real size, real speed, real athleticism, real strength, guy that just gets after it and doesn't stop, is just absolutely relentless. We need that, especially in the Western Conference. Especially when you're going up against, the Brandon Ingrams, the Paul Georges, Kawhi Leonards, Kevin Durant's of the world now, right? Every team in the West now has that guy. You could put Jarred Vanderbilt on Luka, right? And match him size-wise. That's huge. And just make things difficult. Again, you're not going to shut down Luka, but over, a 7-game series, can you wear him down? Can you tire him out? Throwing bodies at him. Can you make things difficult? Again, Luka gives you 36 on a usual playoff night. Can you keep him to 28? That could be the difference between you winning and losing that game. And so I love what we're seeing from Jarred Vanderbilt. I think what Jarred Vanderbilt's going to do and continue to do for this team, I think is just going to be insane. And he's still so young. That's the thing too. He's only going to cost us $4.6 million next year. He's going to get paid, don't get me wrong. And the Lakers better pay him. The Lakers need to keep him long term. He's 23 years old. He's 6'8". He's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. He's well above average in every defensive category. The guy seriously is just as good of a roll glue guy as you can get, right? Like he is everything you want and more. And I really think him and Anthony Davis defensively are going to they're going to cause mayhem. I mean, you already see it. You saw it with the Pelicans. There were stretches where they couldn't score because you had Anthony Davis and you had Jarred Vanderbilt. Um, you know, even in the first game with the Warriors, the ground that Jarred Vanderbilt was able to cover in his first game with the Lakers was insane. You saw plays. There were plays in that Warriors game where he covered like 3 guys at once, literally. And then Anthony Davis as the help defense. It's just you have these 2 guys that are just able to patrol, and it's just you never know if they're behind you, right? And they're just so good at even just recovery, right? Because they're long, they're lengthy, they're athletic, they're quick, they're all of those things. So even if you do beat him off the dribble, he's right back there. He's right there. You can't get rid of him, right? Or if he is guarding somebody else, and you think you have a clear lane, all of a sudden he's there. You're kicking out, and he's back to his defender before the guy even catches the ball. It's incredible to watch the guy play, and him and Anthony Davis going forward. I know the Blazers game, a lot of people are still very upset about the Blazers game, but look, unfortunately, it happens, the NBA, right? At times, teams just shoot the lights out. The problem is that one, it was a team that's in front of us, right? So that hurts. Where if it was like, the Chicago Bulls or something, it's like, yeah, it sucks we lost that game, but at least it's not a team we're trying to chase, right? Like that's what I think hurt more than anything. Or like if it was the Grizzlies, right? Like we're not going to catch the Grizzlies. So yeah, it sucks that they shot the lights out and we lost, but hey, rally the troops and let's get back at it, right? It happens and it sucks. And there was nothing we could do about it. I mean, we were guarding, we were trapping, we were doing everything. And guys just get hot, and we brushed it off. And we followed up with a 20-point win, a very handily start to finish win. And even when the Pelicans made their little run, it felt different. Like it just did. Like I don't know about you, but when I was watching the game, even when the Pelicans got it to 2, I was like, it's okay. Like I didn't feel that way before. If we had a 20-point lead and a team got it to 2, I was like, oh no, here we go, we're about to lose this game. Oh no, right? Like that's the feeling that we got. But I don't know. When I was watching the Pelican game, I was just like, nah, like we're good. Like they made their little run. It's fine. We'll make ours. We'll push the lead back up and it'll be good. And that's exactly what happened. And it's nice to see. And Jarred Vanderbilt, in my opinion, is the X factor. He's the glue guy. He's the key to this team's success. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think of Jarred Vanderbilt? Do you love him? Do you just kind of like him? Do you think he's going to have a huge impact? Do you think he's an X factor too? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below.